Welcome to the Hall of Fame Club podcast, now with Season 2 flavoring. Still your local source for the 2025 Philly season. And now your hosts, Chris, JV, and Keith.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Welcome to another episode of the Hall of Fame Club podcast, where tonight the fellas discuss the last 2 weeks of Phillies baseball. Nicky gets benched and is boned back again. And Otto, who? All that and more shenanigans on tonight's episode of the Hall of Fame Club podcast. Gentlemen, it's been a minute. How you guys doing?
Doing very well. Yeah, we had a lot of life events last week. I think kids graduating and
Oh, God.
all that other stuff. It's good to be back. How you guys feeling?
I stand with Nick.
You stand with Nick.
I don't blame you.
So I wanted to, before I know trades and acquisitions and all that stuff, I have a more pressing question for you guys. You don't have to answer it right now. I'll give you some time to think about it, or if you just want to blurt it out. My question of the day is Rafael Marchand going to be here through the month of June?
I see no good reason that he should be.
Is it time for Stubbsy?
No.
Do you cut the Marchand experiment at this point?
No. Unless you're going to go out and trade for a catcher to replace JT, you got to let Marchand, eventually he's got to lose the position, and he's just not playing every day.
Yeah, what's he have? He can't have more than 50 plate appearances for the season. I couldn't imagine. Just thinking over how many times I've really seen him. I'd be shocked if it was in the 60s. It's got to be somewhere in the 40s or so. But I think his slashing is terrible. I think he's in the hundreds across the board.
He's got 46 at bats.
Okay, so there we go. I said I'd be shocked if it was in the 60s. It's not even in the 50s. So, I guess his plate appearances is a bit of a problem. Can you make a determination on him yet? What are your thoughts? Do you think he's going to... I mean, it's hard to say. Kelsey handpicked his replacement for center, right? And he had a say in it.
He hand-trained him. I don't think he picked him. I'm pretty sure that was picked for him. They said, this is the guy we want, and he was a team guy, and, knowing he was going to retire soon enough, I'm going to do it.
Right. Whatever it may be, I think that there was tacit approval and a coaching. I don't think there's any coach job being done by JT for Marchand here. Or let's put it this way. I think defensively he's good. I think in position he has defensively saved runs. Just as a catcher, your slashing has to be above 200. And we just don't.
The thing is, does JT thinks he still has time to play, and I don't disagree with him, but I'm just saying, his thought is probably, why am I going to train this guy to take my job? Whereas, when you brought up Kelsey knew I had 2, maybe 3 years left when they drafted. Why is his name escaping me? But when they drafted him, they drafted him with the intent of him being the future. Had a couple of seasons to go. Kelsey knew he was ready. He was ready to step away at the time they drafted him. He was ready to retire, and he just kind of kept going for a little bit longer. Maybe the team asked him, maybe they didn't. But so I think it's a different situation. If JT knew he only had 1 or 2 seasons left, maybe he focuses a little more on getting Marchand up to speed and getting him ready for it. Right now, that's not his job. If he feels he has 3+ years left under him, why get somebody ready?
And I'm not saying JT can magically rub Marchand and make him a better hitter. That is not, and I'm not saying it's JT's fault that his slashing isn't there. If anything, his defense is there. So Marshawn has that. I'm just worried in the long run of it. That is not the type of catcher we're looking for. So whether JT is coaching or assisting him along, that's a moot point. You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe shouldn't have brought it up, but in all of that, I think to say my problem lies in he doesn't seem very comfortable at bat. Chris, how
Right.
do you fix that?
That might
How do
be
you fix a guy who doesn't get appearances? How do you fix his at bat and have people hold on to that?
You can't. They misused his options and bringing him through. Like it was, you need young guys down there and learning and getting comfortable, and you don't bring them up until they're absolutely ready and you really think they can handle the big leagues because it's hard. Otherwise, your backup catcher has to be a veteran guy who knows he's not going to get a lot of at bats, but is going to take advantage of each of them. And these young guys just, I don't know if they have that coming in, especially as catchers, because they want to be so good on the defensive side that I don't think they're focused in on the offensive side.
Fuzz, what do you got?
I mean, so why do you want Garrett Stubbs up? I'm just asking. I'm not saying that's what you're. I'm not saying that's
Not
what
saying
you want.
I need Garrett Stubbs.
No,
not
but what I'm saying
I
is
need
if,
Marshawn gone.
But if you had the choice between Marshawn and Stubbs, who are you taking?
At bat or behind the plate?
Who are you taking? Not. It doesn't matter behind the bat.
On the roster.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't on the roster. Who are you taking?
Stubbs.
Why? Because he drinks beer and he wears a helmet. Like if you were that in dire need of leadership, then you need to look at yourself as a GM and you need to call Milwaukee. I don't know what Milwaukee's record is, and you need to get Reese Hoskins back. Plain and simple.
Well, so
Because
I wasn't looking at it
don't-
about as a team ambassador or a party guy or
Then there's
DA
no
Stubbs.
reason to have. He's a
His
career
slashing is
250
better. His slashing is 100 times better.
That's not something to brag
And
about
that's
when
baseball,
you're batting
right?
215.
And that's baseball, right? I
I
understand that.
don't want Garrett Stubbs on the team. There's no reason for him to be on the team. He's a great locker room guy, and that's fine. These guys need to step up in the locker room, plain and simple. I don't.
JV, what's he doing down in Lehigh? Do you get
Stubbs right now is hitting 260.
Okay.
His on base, on base is 366, slug 380, OPS 746.
Okay. I mean, it's serviceable. We're also talking about AAA, so I'm not right. I'm not. Do I think he would do better? I think it doesn't matter. He's your backup. And I don't know how much more you can put into Marshawn. I don't know what work is being done. And Danny has a point here. Danny, co-host from Quit Chasing podcast. Stubb goes where Painter goes. If Painter is getting the call up, that's his guy. That there may be.
Then leave Painter down there. Absolutely. I am not bringing up a pitcher and a catcher because you are a major league ball player. You need to work with every player you have available. That does not work for me.
That's a safety blanket, isn't it?
No, I don't.
But
you're a grown up.
Done throughout baseball, and it always will be done throughout baseball.
Yep.
That certain pitchers prefer certain catchers. Maddox was like that. He wasn't a big Javi Lopez guy. He wanted whoever the backup was. But,
and how many World Series did they win with that philosophy?
Right.
How many championships were won? I get what you're saying, but you have to. I get what you're saying. I don't want a player on my team who's batting 215 career major league wise, has been in a league since 2016. He's not a good backup catcher. Like when it comes to defense, Garrett Stubbs is not that good. He's made some plays. He's not that good.
Agreed.
Like, you're gonna tell me Andrew Painter decides on who his catcher is? The
No.
fuck out of here! Absolutely not.
I will say this: Stubbs would probably be a starter on a different team if he didn't have options.
What? The Rockies?
Who?
Yeah,
I didn't.
I'm saying he is definitely able to start on a major league team. You guys don't watch enough crap baseball to realize how desperate they need catchers right now. It is a really, really tough. It is. I mean, but we have him on options, so it's like letting Stubbs go. I guarantee you, he's going to get signed. Guaranteed, he's going to get signed.
And he's going to
Get signed to a minor league deal.
He'll get signed to a minor league deal, and if not, making the starting roster for someone next year if we don't hold him. I'm just telling you, he's good enough to be a starter.
No, he's
not our starter. I didn't say he's good enough to be our starter. He's good enough to be
he's not one of the best 30 MLB catchers.
If he was good enough to start,
he would.
He would.
They would have kept him up here
which isn't true. There's 32 starters in all of MLB.
There's
not every, and you're telling me every person has earned. No, there's not the right guys in the right positions. You think everyone on this team should be a starter on the Phillies? No.
The starting catcher for the Colorado Rockies is batting .285. He's not going to the Rockies.
No, I'm just saying there are teams out there that require a Stubbs. Stubbs is pretty decent defensively. He knows how to call a good game. He is very well liked by pitchers. I think you guys are overlooking the fact that he is our AAA guy. I'm
overlooking the fact I'm looking at the fact he's not a good MLB ball player. He's a backup. That's all he is.
I hear you.
There's nothing. There's nothing more. There's nothing less. He's a backup. He's a backup catcher. He's a better pitcher than a catcher for us.
I hear. Yeah. Okay. Are we okay?
His career ERA is only 16.43.
Yeah, I was there. I think I was there for his.
He's given up 5 home runs.
Pitching. Yeah, I was there for his position. I think I took my dad to the game, and that was pretty wild. I think he threw an EFIS pitch at one point.
Like home runs through 9 innings, 5.9.
Yeah.
I love it.
I can't stand them throwing positional players into that, but
well, you can't do it until like the 8th or 9th inning now,
and you got to be up or down.
Got to be up by like 33
runs. Yeah,
this is a couple. I don't even know if those rules were in effect when we saw this. This was 2 years ago. All right, where do we want to go? Do we want to go Nick or do we want to go the record? Go on. Let's talk about 2.5 games now, possibly 3 behind the Mets in first. Where do you guys want to go? It's your choice, Chris.
Just go Nick. Like,
you want to go Nick?
Like, did he say something about his mom? Like I don't get.
You give everyone what it's about.
He pulled him for a defensive substitution.
That was last night. Last night he pulled him for a defensive substitution.
That was terrible.
Today, he took him out of the lineup completely.
Probably because he called him out on it.
There were definitely words exchanged. That has been confirmed. The what has not been confirmed. They have talked. It does seem that they are amicable in the dugout. He was in the dugout. He said, I said some things. He didn't like it, but he voiced his concern. His concern was, why did you pull me out of the 8th inning for Johan Rojas?
Right. So that tells you, to me, and the fact that Topper actually benched him, I think that kind of says that he's losing that team. And he needed to do something to send a message. Like, I need you to be, like, he did it as an example, but still got called out on it because there's no reason, like, defensive substitution. Rojas, really? Like, is he that much by moving? Like, why not just take Kepler completely out? because that was who was in center. Why move him to right to pull Nick out? And Nick's been hitting decently well. He's definitely played a good defense.
No, he hasn't.
Like,
terrible defense.
I mean,
I'd be willing to argue he's probably one of the worst outfielders in all of Major League Baseball right now, but that's besides the point.
All right, hold on. We need to get back on track. Who's one of the worst outfielders
this season? Nick. He's terrible. I don't have stats. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just that's analytically. It's just empirically looking at it. He's a huge goose egg, on defensively this season. Now, when it comes down to the bat, I think he's amazing. I guarantee you, with his at bat, with his fielding, he's probably a negative WAR this season, on the season so far, which is crazy. Which is crazy to say. Nick Castellanos is a negative WAR on the season.
No, and that's what I hate. And that's what I hate about the analytics of baseball.
I mean, it's a valid analytic. He is,
No, it's not. Max Kepler is not a better outfielder.
I didn't say he was.
No, but you're saying that. But the analytics say because his WAR is negative, which it is 0.4, and Kepler's is 0.5. That Max Kepler is a better outfielder than he is. And he's not. And my point is,
that's not what WAR says, but that's okay.
It's part of the analytics that they use.
But that's
well,
I need you to back off of like WAR being the end all.
But my point is, you put Max Kepler in right field, and he's a left fielder. Again, I don't know if anyone's ever played left field and right field. The ball comes at you at a different angle all the time. It's not the same. It's a difficult position. No reason to put Nick Castellanos on the bench yesterday, unless he did something during the game for hustling. Other than that, there was no. And Nick's 100% right. Fuck you benching me for? The fuck are you? Like, are you looking at Fangraphs? Stuck? Is it not reloading? Nah. Rob fucked up, and if the Phillies don't get their shit together, I know they're 13 games over 500. Which is crazy that we're talking about this. Something's got to something's gonna have to give. And I'm a Rob guy, but you benched the wrong guy. You waited for the 73rd game of the season to bench someone when you could have benched Harper for not running out. You could have benched Harper multiple times for staring at balls. You could have, and I don't care that he's Philly's godsend. I love Bryce. You still got to run it out. You still got to play the game hard. And he does play the game hard. But this is the guy you bench, Nick Castellanos, the guy who shows up every day, doesn't bitch, doesn't complain, answers all his questions, has the greatest interviews in the history of the world. And this is you bench him? Like, he had to say something about his mom or something. I don't care. Like, it's unacceptable by Rob Thompson.
Where are you at? Where are you at with this, JV? Coach,
I agree.
I know you've coached. I know you've played. I know all those things. So, where do you stand on the player back talk, the mouth, the disrespect that Rob may have been feeling as a coach, but also as a player? At what point do those things need to be voiced to the clubhouse and to the manager that people aren't comfortable or things don't make sense to them? And when things don't make sense, you get unhappy people and non-performing people. So where do you stand?
I stand that sometimes you have to be held accountable as well as a manager. And like my only guess is he probably pointed out the fact that Bohm never got benched despite how bad he was playing. Trey Turner was throwing a lot of errors for a while and never got benched, and like never got taken out for a defensive replacement, just takes a day off. And like Fuzz said, the guy never takes a day off. He's earned the right to be there. Like, it's ridiculous that you take that away from him. And you're not gaining that much, in my opinion, by keeping Kepler in over him.
But
unless there was, and I would have to look at the lineup and the expected guys coming up. Unless they were expecting a righty in there and having Kepler up to hit left-handed, that lefty righty matchup. I didn't get that deep into it, so I don't know what who they were expecting to pitch versus the do up on that lineup. That's the only thing I could think of, is if you wanted to have that lefty righty matchup with Kepler leading off the inning, maybe, or in the first three or whatever it might be. But I don't feel like you're gaining that much by putting him in there,
Right.
by leaving him in there and not taking Rojas. Like Kepler for Rojas, I would have been okay with. Again, unless there was the hitting matchup somewhere there that I don't know, just sitting here. But
again, like you talk, like you brought up a good point. They did bench Boom. Boom has been acting like a fucking little bitch.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Chris. I don't know why I get so angry. But like Bohm, with the way he's been acting towards the umpires, he's been doing that little league shit. Like, nah, dude, nah. You gotta.
And Bohm hasn't earned it yet. Casty's earned it between Detroit, Cincy, and here. He's put his time in the league. That if he did act like that to those guys or had a bad stretch of games, I don't know, like the beginning of last year, he earned the right to stay in there. If anything, he may not have said anything if they had benched him early in the season last year, because he wasn't hitting, he wasn't producing. And I know he came around, but at that time, okay, then bench me. Right. And it should have been, and he would have been okay with it. You're muted or not coming through.
You are not talking. You're not coming through, Keith. No, instead you
came around in May. He came, guys.
I agree. I'm not saying he didn't.
But he was so
you
bad
look at that
in March and
sure,
April.
For sure. 190, 170. Yeah, I know.
He was horrendous.
I was there.
We were all there.
Yeah.
But that's when you
at least that would have been understandable.
But now you do. It just no. I think Rob jumped the gun on this. I think he fucked up.
Well, so this has been reported that this is not the first time Nick has claimed disrespect in the clubhouse by Topper. He will state that being placed 7th or 8th in the lineup is disrespectful to him. He has said that his lineup position is disrespectful. He feels that Topper is overvaluing some players in the lineup. So obviously we all know Nick is an old school mentality player. He is a baseball player, as Chris pointed out. His interviews are legendary after a game.
I fuck with Philly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't shock me that this comes down to etiquette. Just etiquette of baseball for Nick. And Topper, it comes down to, I'm the manager and you're disrespecting me publicly. If you've got a problem, come say it to me. I'll always listen to you because, of course, you're a team leader in all aspects, stats and mentality. I just happen to feel that he did it so publicly that Topper had to respond publicly.
How much more public can you get than being caught on camera saying, I hate this fucking place?
He was benched. Bone was benched last
but
year in the
playoffs.
He was
carried out through.
He was absolutely not benched for that after that.
No, not for that. But he was benched in the
he was
playoffs for throwing his helmet down.
No. Alec Bohm was benched because he fucking dropped the ball and he sucked batting. He was never benched for his comments. And another thing is, yes,
his attitude.
He never got benched for his attitude. No, he got benched because he couldn't hit whatever he felt of a goddamn boot. And another thing is,
then he would have had to have benched the whole team,
and that's fine. But it doesn't matter. It's not how baseball works. But you waited until the playoffs to bench a player for not hitting. But Yohan Rojas is still up there swinging in Game 7 of the 2023 NLCS When me and you looking at each other like this dude needs to drop the punt or get the hell out of here. Put him on a rocket ship on Elon Musk's spaceship back and send his ass to Mars. And another thing is that it didn't help the matter is Nick's an emotional guy. He's from South Florida. He's in his home state. His friends and his relatives are there. Like, it's a straight form of disrespect by Rob. And Nick may have been out of line, but he, like you said, he's been in the league since 2014. He's earned that right. He's earned it. What has Rob done? What Rob has taken his team to the World Series, and we've declined every year since. And he hasn't done any changes. He still manages that bullpen the way he does. He's still throwing Strom out there when Strom's arms is out.
You got Mike commenting, Casty hasn't done anything since he's been here. Now he wants to be a big baby. I can't wait till this guy is gone. So not
which
everyone...
is cool, but who are you gonna replace him with?
Yeah,
Mike.
Again,
I appreciate
there's a market right now for outfielders. That is the one thing that is being moved on. I think that happens every trade is the outfielders. It happened big time last year. I think you had a couple of big movements before the All-Star break, or right. Didn't Chaz go right before?
So here's my thing. Probably, but here's my thing, Mike. I appreciate you commenting. You want Castellanos going. Who I want Mike to answer this. Who are you putting in?
And he's in year 4 of a 5-year deal. I mean, at this point, we still have him for another $20 million.
He's
265 batting average, 311 OBP, 433 slugging, 744 on base, 72 home runs in 4 years, 290 RBIs. What do you mean he hasn't done anything? He's doing what you're expecting of a guy hitting usually around the 6th spot playing right field. I'm not expecting him to come in here and be the superstar of the team, be productive on the team at $20 million. You need to be one of the best hitters, and it's not his fault where he hits on the lineup, because those numbers are very good numbers and probably should be at least a 5 up there protecting between Turner and Harper and those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite in agreement. There isn't an outfielder that I like that gets me kind of into baseball like Casty. He is, like I said, he's a very oriented baseball guy. Defensively speaking, he's just been eating shit this year. I do see it. But look, Kepler proved that it's easy to mess up right field. It's the hottest corner in the field. You're just getting stuffed. You're getting stuffed all night long.
So Mike, you want Cedric Mullin, whose batting average is 44 points lower than Nick Castellanos?
And isn't Cedric Mullins' contract like $30 million a year?
That might not be that. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he's expensive. I think Cedric Mullins really expensive, and I think that's almost a
no. It's $8 million.
It's 8, or is he in his last year? I think he might be in a.
No, it's $8 million. It's 8.7.
Okay. Yeah, it's not his last year. I thought Cassie has a 5-year, $100 million.
No, Cedric.
Oh, Cedric is going to be a free agent next year.
Yeah,
he'll be free agent 26.
Okay, then his price is going to go up to about the same as Casty's.
So his numbers are very comparable, other than that batting average career.
Yeah,
he's about 20 points lower, but the rest of the numbers were comparable.
Because I see him kind of as like as kind of a replacement.
I'm sorry. Listen, Mike. I appreciate you tuning in. Giving us a follow and a subscribe on YouTube. But that's a really bad outfield with Cedric Mullins, Max Kepler, Brandon Marsh, and Johan Rojas. That's a terrible outfield. That is awful.
I don't see it being any better. So I don't see it being terrible. I just don't see how Cedric Mullins is a game changer. That's all.
Right. It's you're out. You take Nick Castellanos out, your outfield goes boop boop boop. You literally lose 44 points in your batting average. Johan Rojas stinks. Brandon Marsh stinks. Max Kepler, the dude's streaky. I'm not gonna say he stinks. Christ Almighty, this is where Nick Castellanos was last year at 220, and we were praising him. So I'm not gonna go that route. But Marsh doesn't look like he's an everyday outfielder.
Do you think the Orioles will not pay for Cedric Mullins?
Oh, I think
He's a
they're
free-
signing him.
I think so.
He's a free, but he's a free agent. It's not arbitration. He's an unrestricted free agent.
I understand. I think they're going to pay.
Why haven't they offered him anything yet?
That's baseball this season because of the potential lockout. Like every team is waiting on rewriting deals to wait for the MLP Players Association to kind of talk through contracts. So right now it's a slow year for contracts. So everyone who's expecting a re-signing of Schwarber and a re-signing of it's going to go slow because right now the union is trying to work out the new luxury taxes. I think it all boils, and I'm not trying to muddle the conversation, but I think it all boils down to right now is they're trying to get a team league minimum salary that so as opposed to instilling a cap. I think the holdup right now is
let's get it done.
I think it's 150 million is what the number is looking like that they're trying to settle on, or that's the number that they started with, or
they're never going to get a salary cap. Grow up.
And it's not a salary cap, it's a salary minimum. So so
they're not going to force owners unless there's some kind of revenue.
And that's what it is. So it's So they are talking about redistributing revenue rights and things like that, and that is what the major holdup is. So any lack of signing or contracts right now is simply because of that out there. But Mike, you say that the outfield hasn't done shit for at least 3 years. I don't know.
What have the corners done? The corner infielders done for the last 3 years? The team. What is the guy sitting on the top step done for the last 3 years?
Yeah, so you're looking to the outfield, who isn't, to me, isn't the highlight of the team, and you're overlooking like almost everything else, which is okay because we sometimes hyperfixate. Like my hyperfixation right now is on Thompson's inability to
but again
think outside of analytics, right?
But again, Mike, you have to look at it as Nick Castellanos in 23 hit 29 home runs and he had 106 RBIs. That's to me that's
I'll take that.
That's a good, and he played 157 games, and I'm just saying, like, you're asking in 2022, Schwarber hit 46 home runs with 94 RBIs. So like they've had some consistent outfield play. 2022, like I said, Schwarber was in the outfield. People often forget Schwarber had to play the outfield because Bryce was the DH.
Yeah,
Bryce was the DH because of his arm. So the outfield did produce at certain times, but let's Brandon Marsh had his moments. Like when Brandon Marsh came over in 22, he had some good key moments, but then he's just been on the decline. And if you take Nick Castellanos out of this lineup right now, you're hurting your team defensively. And that's saying a lot because Keith's ripping him for defense when I don't think he's that bad. I think he's a Pat Burrell-esque. Like he knows how to play the wall. He's figured out how to, because you got to remember they had a new wall in right field this year. It took some, funky bounces that he wasn't used to. And then since that, he hasn't had really bad outfield play. So, once he acclimated and got himself used to the wall, he was fine. Today, Max Kepler plays right field. What do I always say? He read that ball about as well as Floyd Mayweather read a book. It was awful. It was awful, and it cost the Phillies a run.
So you think playing right field for the Phils, that cage and the scoreboard has to have something to do with it? Because I've been watching visiting teams and all of our home guys out there in right field. Like they just seem to just really struggle the closer they get to that wall.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who it is.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, because you got to remember something. The everyday players who come into Philadelphia and play, they know how to play a certain position of that wall when they're playing in right field or when they're playing in left field. They know, hey, listen, if this is off here, it's going to go here. If it's off here, it's going to go here. In center field, if that ball hits Monty's alley, it's an inside the park home run. I don't give a shit who you are. The way it just deflects off. But, and like you said, it's been a struggle this year for outfielders, not just Castellanos. I don't know what they did, what juju they put out there in right field, but they just, I wish that was there in 2022 when they played the Houston Astros. And maybe that kid Chas McCormick doesn't rob JT Real Muto. That's just my opinion. Mike, I could be 100% wrong. Maybe Cedric Mullen is the missing piece. I could be 100% wrong.
Listen, if you can get him at the right price as a free agent, I say go for it. I was trying to pull it up here. Whatever the free agents for 2025. I mean, if he's going to be the best available outfield, I would take him and put him in there over the outfielders, the center and left fielders that we have. Because Kepler was a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think
$19 million for one. I think he was 12 with the luxury. He became 19.
Yeah, I forget what it was. Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Unless anybody else says that he.
No, and I'm not trying to not shout out to Philly Halftime. He does play-by-plays, Philly play-by-plays of all the sports teams here on YouTube.
Was that the gentleman we had on in the beginning of the season?
No, it's not JJ. Philly
JJ,
Halftime. Yeah, Philly Halftime.
Thanks for
check
tuning
him
in.
out. So if you guys don't know, you can just right-click and on people's names in the YouTube chat and look at their profile. Just go ahead and check them out. Hit subscribe. It doesn't cost you nothing. So just make sure you check out all of the other the channels that are checking in here. So go ahead, bud.
I just want to go real quick. So Zach Wheeler confirmed that he's retiring after the 2027 season.
Correct.
So I'm hoping the Phillies go 2028 without like a starter. They have money to pay. And as long as he's still on the Pirates, they sign Paul Skeens because that's his first time when he becomes a free agent. He's got arbitration. He's going to be the highest paid arbitration player in the history of the game. He's going to be.
He's going to get traded before then. Stop.
He's going
to get rid of him before they even hit arbitration because they know how much they're going to have to pay in arbitration.
I got to look.
I mean, they're probably going to be paying like $14 million in arbitration. Is that too rich for their blood?
There's no way. It's got to be more.
Nah, arbitration.
Listen, the outfield free agents.
They do it out. They do a free agency projection in position on stats, and then they take a percentage of that, and then they do that against your projected and your also earned. So
yeah,
that's the highest is 19.
That's how Bohm got a lot out of this because of his first really good half of the season last year.
He should have had 140 RBIs the way he was driving in runs.
Right. But because
so here's my question.
Go ahead.
Vlad makes 19. He made 19 before he signed his contract in arbitration.
Yeah.
You don't think Skeens is a little bit better, worth more than that? I'm asking. I think he's worth like 22. I could be wrong.
Was it this season he's arbitration eligible, or is it next?
After
no.
20. I think it's after this season.
After.
He's making $875,000 this year.
Right.
Do you know
Yeah.
how much of a disgrace?
I think his first year he's going to open at like 14. I don't think I think Vladdy made that in arbitration year 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but you got to look at what these other top end starters are making too.
And you also, again, it's in arbitration.
The number one. Yeah.
So it's cut down. It's cut down, obviously, by more than half.
Yeah, I think he walks away with 17 or 18 in year one.
He's got a 1.78 ERA. Well. He's got a 1.78 ERA.
If that guy does not get the Cy Young, I do not understand baseball.
He's 4-6.
If he holds this trend,
his WAR is 4.1. 4.1.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's because they can't freaking hit. Like, there's more.
4.1 for a pitcher. Team. I don't know if people understand a 4.1 for a pitcher. It's just insane. Yeah. So, are you guys under the? If he continues the season as is, he's the Cy Young, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Chris? Who do you have? Because there's other people who are
in the National League. Who do you have?
So this is why, and I know, and I'm not playing Homer. All right, so I know I don't hate WAR, but Zach Wheeler's WAR is 3.0. But
I know, and unfortunately, when it comes to Cy Young, they do take into account wins and losses, which is going to be in Wheeler's favor because he's on a better team.
He's 7-2. His ERA is 2.76. He's got 8 less pitched innings than Skeens. He's pitched 88 innings, and he's got 110 strikeouts. I did not realize. I knew he was a strikeout pitcher. I did not realize that's how many strikeouts he had. He's got 23 more strikeouts than Paul Skeens. Realistically, without even looking up any other pitcher stats,
8 innings more than Skeens?
No.
Less.
No. Less. He's got 8 innings less.
Wow.
Right. Right. And without even looking at anyone else's stats, if you told me Zach Wheeler was 1 and Skeens was 2, I'd be okay with it. And I don't know what the other pitchers are, but just looking at those two, like those are ridiculous stats. And Zach should be 1 and Skeens could be 2. I'm sure there's better pitchers. But the fact that he's got 110 strikeouts.
Go ahead, JV, argue why Skeens is 1 and Wheeler's 2.
Really can't. I mean, that ERA is really about the only thing you have that would go against him. That he's
it's a 1.7. He's got like a 1.78 right now.
Yeah,
Skeens does. Yeah,
and Wheeler's over it too. So those two there alone are going to be huge helps for him. And again, it's the wins and losses. It's going to hurt him. The fact that his team is so terrible, which is why I think he actually has a better chance at MVP because he's that valuable to a team. And I think that's where you got to bring that much value to your team as well as to the league. And he's getting people to watch the Pirates. Every 5th day when he starts, people are paying attention. So, no offense to Wheeler, they're not watching the Phillies for Wheeler. They're only watching the Pirates. So, if you're talking that true value to the league, he's bringing a lot in just by being himself. But with the schemes,
I like the fact that you turn the most valuable player into more than just statistical. Like, what do they bring to the franchise itself? Which is fine.
Franchise in the league, yeah.
Because there are statistical awards that can be given that would allow that to be highlighted. So yeah,
you're telling
Ohtani, however, to me, it's probably a bigger draw than Skeens. But okay.
So you're telling me that no one tunes into Pirates to watch Tommy Pham?
I think I have his baseball card.
You're welcome.
Game over.
I think I have his baseball card. I swear to you.
Hold on. Where's that comment? Hold on. Where is it? There it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and you. But you know what? I think and like I said, Major League Baseball did it good. Like they're marketing Ohtani, but now it's too much. Oh my God, he pitched 1 inning yesterday.
What do you guys think about? Yeah, that was. He looked
Like
good.
he's not the only pitcher to come back from Tommy John surgery. Yes, he does do both. He hits, but listen, let's be realistic. He's not playing the outfield. If he was playing the
Right,
outfield
he's a
and
DH
pitching,
on the other day.
like
His
and
two-way
listen,
is a DH.
I'm not taking anything away.
Yeah.
I don't want no one to think I'm taking anything away from Ohtani. But if Major League Baseball figured a way to market Skeens, I think it would be where you can bring up the minimum for $150 million. If you put him on the fucking Yankees, I'm hanging up.
No. I know how they can do it. Hire Livy Doon to be your marketing person, because somehow she's making millions of dollars and hasn't really done anything. Nobody knew who she was for years. And then suddenly NIL, and she's making millions, and she's been in like 2 commercials that I know of. So
I couldn't pick her on the street if you asked me to.
Right. But you put her, she's making more than Skeens is right now. You put her in charge of marketing, and she's figured it out. Whatever she needs to do, she's figured it out. She needs to be MLB's marketing.
All I know is they were like, "Oh, look, Paul Skeens is back at the College World Series," and then they're like, "And there's Livy Dunn."
Yeah.
Okay. So, one of the suggestions, and I just got a text message from one of our listeners. They didn't want to comment on YouTube, but one of our listeners. It's not. You know, he has no problem commenting. So when
Livy Dunn.
Livy. I seriously, I still could not pick her out of a lineup, and I like it that way. So here's the call from one of our listeners. So okay, maybe you do trade Casty. Maybe you do want to move on from him. So what's that possibly look like? Marsh to left, Crawford in center, Stott, Kemp, or Sosa at short. Frees you up some Trey for the outfield.
Jesus
Kemp,
Christ.
Platoon and left possibly, if you do move Casty. So
did you text yourself?
No, I didn't bring up Crawford, obviously, but why haven't we talked about him?
I have no problem bringing up Crawford.
Okay, so there,
I think he's got to come up as a more solid platoon, like with a solid schedule rotation of it, or he needs to be the everyday, like when they bring him up for at least a little while to see how he does. I don't think they can bring him up and have him pinch hitting here, pinch hitting there, and see what he can do. Like that's kind of what they do with the Kemp. They're finding ways to keep Kemp in the lineup to see what he can do with the bat.
That's how they ruined Nick Williams. But
the occasional start here or there with the pinch hitting. I'm okay if it's a solid set rotation for the platoon, but
he's a first round pick. He's got to be your everyday player.
Yeah,
he's not going to learn to hit left-handed pitching if he doesn't face left-handed pitching.
I was today years old. I was today years old when I saw what Livy Dunn first looked like. Thank you for that, Fuzz.
You're welcome.
I had no idea. I had no idea she was a real human. I thought she was an AI thing. Anyway.
And by the way, Armando Sosa, his batting average, it's at a solid 274. It's going to do nothing but go down. Cheers to that, like I told you 6 weeks ago. You and Tyler.
Do we have I have my dummy. Do you guys have your dummy?
Not
That was worth it.
I know. I don't know. Are we going to be able to top JVs from 2 weeks ago. That's why we were off the air for a whole week. We didn't have family things. We had to recover from Forest and Florida. Jesus fucking Christ.
My dummy of the week is really simple. It is going to the Phillies management. The Phillies just settled a lawsuit against their analytics company that they've been using for the last 3 years. Zealous, Tellus, I don't know. Whatever the company was, that only whatever analytics they're using, they are now offering individual pieces of that program to be bought individually by teams. Philly says that puts them at a disadvantage. Now everyone can win the World Series. You're dummies. Analytics doesn't win you World Series.
Right.
Okay.
We haven't won one in 17 years.
So you're dummies for suing this company. You're dummies for looking like you think that you were going to be the only ones on the block that could use a computer. You paid a lot of money apparently to get told stuff by a computer, and I pay $20 a month for Gemini. So I don't know what you're doing. You guys are dummies. Start using your money better. I don't know if you have one, Chris.
I do. I'm gonna see who. I'm gonna. JV, you gotta go.
I don't have one.
Good.
Okay.
So
I'll go. I'll go with. And I'm not even gonna give the guy's name. Not having Jalen Hurts in your list of top 10 Philly athletes is an absolute disgrace. There's not one fucking Philly who should be above Jalen Hurts. Plain and simple. It's not even a question. You want to put Saquon Barkley, you want to put AJ Brown, you want to put Cooper DeJean, that's fine. But you Ranger Suarez, and I really think that person who put that list out, I truly think he just hates Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts has made this person look like an idiot time and time and time and time. I could keep going over and over. That's my idiot of the week. One of the radio co-hosts from one of our sports talks radio stations. Nobody hates Philly sports more than the Phillies sports media. They hate our athletes.
It's just, if it's supposed to be a hot take that you're not including the guy who just won the Super Bowl
and the MVP,
right? Most quarterbacks do, but for you to say like he is not, if you're trying to stand on your laurels and stand by that he's not elite conversation, but this is the statement you're making by saying he's not even a top Philly athlete, I do feel like no one can take you serious. So if you want me to take your he's not elite seriously, I will listen. But if you say something as stupid as he's not even a top 11, I don't even know why they did top 11. But if he's not,
they
even,
had to put Ranger Suarez at 11, just as
a bit.
Like, yeah, that's the only, like, it's got to be clickbait for this guy. Like, that's the only thing he can be going for. You can't truly believe this. Like, there's no way down in you, like, if you know sports at all, that you believe that Jalen Hurts.
I said this before.
At least the top.
Wasn't he my idiot of the week a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
To Kamara.
Yeah. So he's now done it twice. Let's see, in a streak, 2 episodes in a row.
Look,
we'll see if he can do it again. He'll probably do it again next week.
He's probably thinking, I don't care what anyone thinks. These are guys on a schmo on a podcast who are calm. Dude, let me remind you, the fans got Tyrone fired from the Fanatic. Like, are you nuts? Like, they will put the fans of Philadelphia, if you push them too far, will get you fired from your job. Like, you're on the radio. You are doing a public job. Like, you can get me fired from this podcast. Okay.
We've been trying to get rid of Fuzz for
money
years.
to do this.
Right.
You get paid to do that. And if people aren't happy enough with what you're doing, they will get you fired, Joe. I am telling you now. You're not John Ritchie. John Ritchie was a former player here who will always get a beer in a bar. Okay. You're not Glenn McNow, who had a 30-year career on the radio. Okay,
And a
you're
truistic-
none of those things. You've been doing this for a better part of a year here in Philly, and we just don't like you. And you say dumb shit. So you could keep being our dummy of the week, but eventually you will get fired for saying dumb things like that. If your job is to know sports, great. And if you want to argue this elite thing about Jalen, great. But if you're going to say something as basic as he's not even a top 10 sports athlete in this city, shut up. Shut up, okay? Just do that. You're not good at your job.
You're just gonna sit there and just piss off a fan base that ripped the fucking telephone pole out to celebrate. Why do you
I'm not even trying to threaten him. Like, it's not even a threat. Like, no one's gonna hurt him. No one's gonna punch him.
No.
We're not gonna physically hurt you. But if this is your livelihood, be better at it. Just be better at what you're doing.
Right. How does that management like there's another radio show in this city that has been on the air forever. It's one of the most beloved radio stations in this city, the beloved morning show. And people got extremely pissed when they let one of their people go who wasn't saying dumb shit. Like one person off that show got let go, and the city was ready to lose its mind. Do you think we're going to care about the camera? Like,
No.
if you get like, and the management of that squad of that station needs to be like, look, this guy's even going too far for us. Like, we need to, like, it's going to end up biting us in the ass. Let's get out ahead of this now.
And like it's not cute because WIP is like an Eagle station, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like if it's a bit that you're doing, I'm not for it. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cute. The guys you put on your list, you put Harper at two. The guy who hasn't brought you anything to this town
He's
other
got
than
an
an NL
MVP
championship
and an NLCS, and that's it. And I love Harper. You know, I have his jersey. You know, I still buy Phillies gear. You know, I love the guy.
Love Harp,
but I'm not putting
him...
Bryce Harper above Jalen Hurts, who has taken our team now twice, has outplayed the best quarterback in the NFL twice on the biggest stage in the world twice. Like this is a fan base.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
This is how every time he talks, this is what I want. With every time Joe DiCamaro, he's a,
you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
But like it's like almost one of those things. Like it's like, and again, I don't think it's a bit, but this is a fan base that went to a peaceful protest, yelled "F so and so" and "Go Birds." So don't tell me that he's not the number 2 athlete in the Philadelphia sports world. Don't tell me. You want to say Saquon's 1? I'll give you that. Don't tell me Jalen Hurts isn't number 2. And if you do, as Keith the teacher would say, show me your work. Show me your math.
Show me your math. Just show me your math. Like, I want to have a conversation with you, Joe. I do. You see, you get a mic and you think you're right. And you're not. It's okay. It's okay to have, but you'll eventually be wrong enough. This ain't the weather. Weathermen keep their job after being wrong. You're wrong enough, dude. You will get fired. So I'm just kind of saying this to you as humble yourself a little bit, bud. No, you're not an athlete. No, these guys can outplay you in anything you do, and they take bigger shits than you are every single day. As a person, they'll take bigger human-sized shits than you, Joe. Do me a favor. Settle down. Understand that you actually have a very easy job. 5 days a week for 4 hours. It is a dream job to be on the air. And you're saying stupid shit like that. Like, what are you doing, bud? I don't get it. You're a dummy.
Yeah.
So who's your dummy of the week? Did you have enough time to get one, Jeremy?
No, I there's no topping the camera right now.
No.
Like he just.
I think he's
And
going to be
my
our
wife didn't say
perpetual
anything
dummy
else,
of the
so.
week.
My wife didn't say anything else.
Yeah.
Do you have our question? You have our questions, bud?
I didn't find a question that I deemed worthy of asking.
You
So,
did not, or you did?
I did not.
Oh. Do you want me to do something?
Do you have some that you've been sitting on?
Nah, I feel like I've done them all. I mean, I wish you would have told me. I would have been able to. Do you guys want to look at our predictions from the beginning of the season and see if any of them
I'm
are
the
still
closest
possible?
one.
Are you?
I'm the last one.
All right, here we go.
I'm gonna have like 400 RBIs.
I'm gonna say that Aaron Nola
Oh shit. Ron.
over 17 wins.
Oh,
God.
If he has over 17
Look at my
wins,
face
they're
there.
the number one.
your
seed.
face says it all.
Plain and simple.
Right.
Like,
But that's
17.
what I'll go with. I'll go with it 17 plus.
Okay.
Keith,
I have over 102 wins this season.
holy shit.
Yup.
With 17 wins, and what I'm about to say is we're all on the right page.
Okay.
33 home runs and over 115 RBIs for Alec Boehm.
115
Yep.
plus 115 plus 33.
Yep.
33 home runs was the wild
Holy
thing to me.
shit.
For a
Don't you dare look at me like that, JV. You gave us a Bryson Stott 30 home run season.
wow. So we're almost midway through. Coming up on
Alec Boehm has 7 home runs
Yep.
and 33 RBIs.
Not on
Phillies
pace.
The Phillies are 43 and 31.
Not on pace.
And Aaron Nola is probably not
Currently
coming
on
back
the
the rest of
IL.
the year. He's 1 and 7.
Well, you
And I
put that
just-
together, 1 and 7. There's your 17.
There you go. Yep. 17
I
right
brought-
there.
I brought it out of retirement. I made the announcement, and then the Phillies went on a 1 and 9 game, Sam. So the garage beer has come out of retirement.
I told you. Those state sides were not the answer.
Oh, they are.
You
They
don't
are
mess
still
with-
the answer.
You don't mess with it. Works.
Stateside is dangerous.
It's the devil. As
It's
Keith would
dangerous.
say. Keith's like, I went to a game. I don't remember how I got there or how I got home or who won or what baseball team the Phillies were playing. But I had all the flavors.
I did. And they were all samples, but they kept giving them to me.
The samples were in bats. Here, sample this.
No, they were like in the clear Dixie cups, like the plastic ones, but they were
Yeah.
filling them halfway up.
He's like, I can do this. I used to
You
drink
could
mind
just-
erasers like this.
You could just take gulps of it. Surfside, you could just gulp it because it doesn't taste like alcohol. And if you're thirsty, you're like, oh yeah, that went down like a cold iced tea. And I'm like, yeah, I was thirsty at the moment, and I shot back like they kept feeding me them.
He's like, I need $1 hot dog.
Well, this was the night that we go in, and the first time I'd ever gone to the suites, and they're handing you stuff. Like, have you guys ever been in a suite before? I went for my wife's work. She had gotten tickets, and we're in their company suite, and they just start handing you like, hey, do you want a mozzarella stick? Yes, I do want a mozzarella stick.
I've never been handed. I've had the layout, the spread on the table. That
This
it was just
before we even
it just never
got-
was empty. It was just never. I'm like, I just sat here and ate 12 mozzarella sticks. Why is
Here's
there
Keith.
still 12 more sitting there? Why do they keep coming back?
Here's Keith. This is Keith's mouth, and this is someone's hand as they're feeding it to him.
Pretty much is that's how it felt.
Was someone
These
fanning
were-
you?
Guys, you're not even. Hold on. These people are handing me stuff like they're the Costco people. Like, you want a free sample of a mozzarella stick? I'm about to go to a suite and have like hot dogs and like everything else, and they were like, "Yeah, but do you want it? Can you imagine if they had done that on the concourse level, free samples?
Oh, the person
So,
the
what
the
was-
person
what-
would have
what-
just been mobbed.
What was the
They just
one
ran over.
What was the one thing giveaway in the 70s? They gave out bats. Bat night at like the Royals game. It turned into a whole thing.
I know they did the disco night, Death to Disco.
With the steamroller on the records.
And there was like they had a fire one with the.
And what was that? There was Death at Disco. There was a bunch of gimmicky nights back in the 70s and 80s. I know there was one that they did. Wasn't one where I've seen the fireworks shows go off before the end of the game, during the 9th, accidentally. But there was another one that ultimately backfired and caused a problem. What was the one in Philly?
Was that the batteries or was that on football? They did something with what did they throw JD Drew? Was it batteries that night or something?
Yeah. They didn't give it away, they just brought them in.
Who throws a battery? So we don't have Stump the Fuzz this week. That's okay. No one's gonna miss it. Do you have any final thoughts on the series? Are we taking the Marlins series tomorrow? Is this a 4-game series?
I think it is 4, then 3.
I think I knew we were on a 4-game series coming up. Is this it?
Yeah, they're gonna win. They're gonna go 3-1.
Is it definitely? Yeah, it's a no.
It's 4 games.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you might have been referring to the ball night at Dodger Stadium, Keith. August 10th, 1995, they gave out 53,000 baseballs.
That's it.
And then
What
3
could go
players
wrong?
were ejected, and it just turned into a melee.
That's it.
What could go?
That's it.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong giving out 53,000 baseballs?
That was the problem.
And then
Yeah, we
they
have
had
Suarez on Wednesday and then Sanchez on Thursday. So,
Yep, they should.
and just a reminder, the first New York Mets game, and that's going to be obviously the series to watch. We have this weekend coming up is some big baseball, and we can preview this one if you guys want to preview it maybe Thursday night or do a watch along on Friday night for Apple TV. Since it's Apple TV, we can do play watch party. How do you guys feel about that? I'm doing it. I'm doing a live watch party on the channel Friday night, 7:15. Be here at 7:00. We're gonna watch the Phillies take on the New York Mets. They will be on Apple TV. So if you don't have it and you want to tune in, please tune in to the Broken Bell Network. We'll be here. I will.
I'll probably join you because apparently my daughter has a graduation party that night, so I'll probably be doing nothing.
Sweet. That is a Wheeler matchup, and I think it might be Wheeler versus probably Peterson.
No, it's McGill.
Is it?
Yeah.
That would be cool if it was Peterson, but is that definitely matched up? What about that guy Griffin?
He goes against Abel the next day.
Oh, Abel, and what's his name? Gannon?
Yeah, I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah. I follow the Mets just because I need to hate them and know what I'm talking about to hate them. That's all. All I know is they're super happy about something and sending another guy over to a New York team and him eating ass. I don't know. They love that. Do you know anything about that, guys?
No.
How much was his contract? So he's under. I know he's under Ohtani. I know he did
I think
not
he's like
get
750. I think he's like 750.
He's over. He's getting paid more than Ohtani from
Probably.
the Yankees.
Yep. The Mets. Oh, excuse me.
I mean, from the Mets. How much? There's no way the Mets paid that much. I thought he was just under Ohtani's contract.
His contract was 15 years for 765.
And what was
Oh,
Ohtani's?
so I was off. 38 years with everything.
Yeah,
deferred.
Yeah.
His children's children will own the Dodgers.
10 years, 700.
That's better.
If they pitch him, he's going to get hurt.
That's just, that's a better 7. Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I knew Ohtani was getting like 70 a year, and I thought his worked out to be like 60 something. So might even be a little bit under. And Ohtani has a deferred contract too. So
Yeah.
deferred until, I don't know, the first nuclear bomb falls, I guess. All right, take us out, Jeremy.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. This has been a great episode of the Hall of Fame Club podcast. We will be back next week. Do we have a Philly podcast this week, Keith or Chris?
Yeah, we're supposed to have one tomorrow with Nikki Geist from One New Jersey Sports going over the Giants' schedule for the 2025 season and how
So
she
that
feels
should be a
about
short one.
and how she feels about the whole Saquon thing and how she was able to handle it during the offseason, during this season.
All right.
It should
And then
be a fun episode.
we'll have another Northeast Philly podcast come eventually.
We're gonna
I
do
think
a
we're
movie one.
leaning towards comedy
Comedy.
movies on that one.
We
So,
have not done comedy movies.
right.
I'm down
we
for
just,
it.
The 80s and 90s, we had a lot of comedies in there. That's what it came down. I went back looking through our stuff, and that seemed to be what it was.
Yeah,
So,
that's what it was.
yeah. But all right, well, that's it. Thank you, everybody, again for joining us. Make sure you follow us on all the socials, Facebook. Search the Broken Belt Network. We're on X. We're on YouTube. All of it. All of the links are there. So, thank you, and see you next week.
Jingle All the Way will make the list.